All right, shalom. I want to give all honor and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai. I want to give double honors to the apostles, a great millstone who rule well. And I also want to say peace and blessings. Salutations to the elect, Zahab, Spirit Wind Judah of the Mississippi Camp. And today I want to go into an article that basically sheds light on what Esau is doing and how Esau is further oppressing and holding the 12 tribes in captivity, man. All right. But the article is entitled 40 Reasons Why Our Jails Are Full of Black and Poor People. And I'm going to break it down into about 4 installs. All right. 4 installations. All right. It says the U.S. Department of Justice reports 2.2 million people are in our nation's jails and prisons, and another 4.5 million are on probation or parole in the U.S., totaling 6.8 million people, 1 of every 35 adults. We are far and away the world leader in putting our own people in jail. Most of the people inside are poor and black. Here are 40 reasons why. Number 1, it is not just about crime. Our jails and prisons have grown from holding about 500,000 people in 1980 to 2.2 million people today. The fact is that crime rates have risen and fallen independently of our growing incarceration rates. Number 2, police discriminate. The first step in putting people in jail starts with interactions between police and people. From the very beginning, black and poor people are targeted by the police. Police departments have engaged in campaigns of stopping and frisking people who are walking, mostly poor people and people of color, without cause for decades. Recently, New York City lost a federal civil rights challenge to the police stop and frisk practices by the Center of Constitutional Rights, during which police stopped over 500,000 people annually without any indication that the people stopped had been involved in any crime at all. About 80% of those stopped were of black and Latinos, comprised 25 and 28% of NYC's total population. Chicago police do the same thing, stopping even more people, also in a racially discriminatory way, with 72% of stops of black people, even though the city is 32% black. So as you can see, it's already targeting blacks and Hispanics, so-called, but their true biblical origin is the southern kingdom and the northern kingdom, Judah and Ephraim. Number 3, police traffic stops are also racially targeted people. Police traffic stops also racially target people in cars. Black drivers are 31% more likely to be pulled over than white drivers, and Hispanic drivers are 23% more likely to be pulled over than white drivers. Connecticut, in April 2015 report on 620,000 traffic stops, which revealed widespread racial profiling, particularly during daylight hours when the race of the driver was more visible. Number 4, once stopped, black and Hispanic motorists are more likely to be given tickets than white drivers stopped for the same offenses. Number 5, once stopped, blacks and Latinos. Why does it keep saying blacks and Latinos, man? But the Latinos ain't part of the curses. They're not part of Israel. They're not Israel. All right. Number 5, once stopped, blacks and Latinos are more likely to be searched. DOJ, Department of Justice, reports black drivers at traffic stops were searched by police 3 times more often, and Hispanic drivers 2 times more often than white drivers. A large research study in Kansas City found when police decided to pull over cars for investigatory stops, where officers look into the car's interior, asked probing questions, and even searched the car, the race of the driver was a clear indicator of who was going to be stopped. 28% of young black males 25 or younger were stopped in a year's time, versus white men who had 12% chance and white women only a 7% chance. In fact, not until black men reach 50 years old do their rate of police stops for this kind of treatment dip below those of white men 25 and under. Number 6, traffic tickets are big business. Even if most people do not go directly to jail for traffic tickets, poor people are hit the worst by these ticket systems.
As we saw with Ferguson, where some of the towns in St. Louis receive 40% or more of their city revenues from traffic tickets. Tickets are money makers for towns. Number 7, the consequences of traffic tickets are much more severe among poor people. People with means will just pay the fines. But for poor and working people, fines are a real hardship. For example, over 4 million people in California do not have valid driver's license because they have unpaid fines and fees for traffic tickets. And we know unpaid tickets can lead to jail. Number 8, in schools, African American kids are much more likely to be referred to the police than other kids. African American students are 16% of those enrolled in school, but 27% of those referred to the police. Kids with disabilities are discriminated against at about the same rate because they are 14% of those enrolled in school and 26% of those referred to the police. Number 9, though black people make up about 12% of the U.S. population, so they say, black children are 28% of juvenile arrests. DOJ reports that there are over 57,000 people under the age of 21 in juvenile detention. The U.S. even has 10,000 children in adult jails and prisons any given day. And number 10, the war on drug targets black people. Drug arrests are a big source of bodies and business for the criminal legal system. Half the arrests these days are for drug and half of those are for marijuana. Despite the fact that black and white people use marijuana at the same rates, the ACLU found a black person is 3.7 times more likely to be arrested for possession of marijuana than a white person. The ACLU found that in some states, black people were 6 times more likely to be arrested for marijuana than whites. For all drug arrests between 1980 and 2000, the U.S. black drug arrest rate rose dramatically from 6.5 to 29.1 per 1,000 persons. During the same period, the white drug arrest rate barely increased from 3.5 to 4.6 per 1,000 persons. All right, that concludes the first installment. Just be ready for the second installment. Shalom.